Hi Heidi, so I'm just going to show you how easy it is to try and create something. I'm going to pretend I'm going to sell some red ashtray on eBay. So you go to eBay, sign into eBay. I've got already an eBay account, so I'll just sign into mine. There it is, sign in. And then this sort of stuff comes up. You ignore all this crap and you just go over to the top here and it says sell. So you say, okay, I want to sell something. So you hit sell. And then it says, okay, you want to sort of sell something, so give it a go. So they give an example of what they're looking for in your text. And I'll just be saying ashtray. I've got a category here. Ashtray vintage, it's probably what I'm after. Glass. So they give you suggestions on wording that might help, and then you just say go. And I'm going to create a new listing because there's nothing there that appeals to me. It's a used one. And then they start a blank for you. Over here they've got a red line. That will change green the more information I put down. So if I put down vintage glass ashtray, and I'll put down red, and I'll put down 1960s, and I might put down retro, and maybe something else like, I don't know, 15 centimeter diameter and 4 centimeters tall. And then you can see suddenly it's jumped to 3, meaning to green, meaning that there's enough here for most people to be interested in it. Then over here they ask you to put some information in. So you would have had some photos from either your computer or your phone. I'm going to just sort of pick one, and then I'll just pick another one. So these are all the photos you would have taken of the actual ashtray. And then down here, it's used, country, it's going to be Australia. That helps with other things it does later on, like postage. You don't need to do anything else. You then carry on, you say good condition, sell to a good home. But normally you'd write a whole heap more in here to help people feel like they understand it better. Then what another good thing is the pricing. They say that typically a glass ashtray is somewhere in the order of $20 to $25 it sells in Australia. So you can just go with that, and it's got a really high chance of selling. So that's really good. So if you have one, they're saying start the auction bid at $4.50 plus postage, and if you want you can add a price now. They start this low to get people interested, but it's not until they reach a certain threshold that it sells. Okay, so that's how it works. If they don't reach a threshold, you can decide to not sell. Then down here they even suggest, because you're in Australia, here's the packaging, and go via Australia Post, and the buyer pays the postage, which will be somewhere in the order of this much. So the buyer already sees this is pre-set up for them. You don't have to do much. I can then hit preview, and then it produces this preview of what it would look like when people look for a glass ashtray that's red and retro. And they'll come across here that says they can start bidding at $4.50, or they can buy it outright. It puts down here, delivery varies depending on how the person who buys it wants it. You can do a calculation of how much it'll cost them depending on where they are. Like if they're in Sawtell, New South Wales, they'll say, okay, it's going to cost so much. It always puts down as default that you can't return it. And some descriptions that you've added here. Used, an item's previously used, blah, 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 blah. That's it. because I'm not going to list it now. I'm just going to